Even if she's married, why most men quit too soon. Most men surrender before the battle even begins. They see distance, cold responses, or complete silence, and they assume it's over. Game lost. War ended. But what if that very moment, the one that feels like rejection, is actually your greatest advantage? What if, instead of reacting with desperation, you could tilt the entire dynamic in your favor without chasing, begging, or sacrificing your self-respect? Most men never realize this. They let emotions take the wheel. They act impulsively, and in doing so, they destroy any chance of turning things around. But you're about to break that cycle. Because before you even think about giving up, pay attention. What you're about to learn will place you in a position most men will never reach. Why men fail when she pulls away. The moment a woman grows distant, most men panic. They assume the worst. She's lost interest. She's met someone else. She simply stopped caring. But here's the truth. Attraction doesn't vanish overnight. It fades in stages. In the beginning, she felt excitement, challenge, and uncertainty. Now, she knows exactly where you stand. The thrill is gone. The mystery? Dead. And whether she realizes it or not, she's testing you. Not with words, but with silence, with space. How do you respond? Do you stay composed, or do you crack under pressure? Because here's what most men never understand. Attraction isn't built through words or reassurance. It thrives in distance, tension, and the unknown. When something is always available, it loses value. And this is where most men fail. Instead of matching her withdrawal, they push harder. More texts, more calls, more desperate attempts to bring back what's slipping away. And that's when attraction dies. Because if she doesn't have to earn your attention, she will never value it. The silent test and why most men fail. Most men don't even see it happening. When a woman pulls away, it's rarely a conscious decision. It's a test of emotional strength, a test to see if the man she's with is truly grounded in himself or just another guy faking confidence. And whether she realizes it or not, she's watching. Does he chase? Or does he hold his ground? Does he truly have options? Or was it all an act? And this is where most men fail. Instantly. She ignores their message, so they text again. She delays her response, so they ask if something's wrong. She cancels plans, so they scramble to reschedule. With every move, they confirm exactly what she feared. She's in control. But the men who pass this test, the ones who separate themselves from the rest, they do the opposite. They don't chase. They don't demand answers. They don't break frame. They hold their position, unshaken. And that's when something shifts. She starts to feel something she never expected. Regret. The truth. Most men never learn. Absence creates desire. Most men believe women fall in love with presence. They think the more they give, the more they show up, the more they prove their devotion, the deeper she'll feel for them. Wrong. Women don't fall in love with presence, they fall in love with absence. The less you offer freely, the more valuable you become. Think about it. When something is always available, you stop noticing it. You take it for granted. But when it disappears, when it's suddenly out of reach, that's when the craving begins. This is why the most powerful move you can make is to pull back at the right time. Instead of texting first, wait. Instead of liking her posts, ignore them. Instead of rearranging your life for her, prioritize yourself. The moment you stop being predictable, always reachable, and overly responsive, everything shifts. Now she notices your absence. Now she's the one wondering, why isn't he reacting? Has he lost interest? Is he seeing someone else? And here's the paradox. The less you give without thought, the more she starts missing you. How to regain control without chasing. Most men make the same mistake when a woman pulls away. They try to fix it. They explain themselves. They prove their worth. They reassure her of their feelings. But attraction doesn't work that way. The moment you start chasing, you lower your value. Instead, match her energy. If she pulls back, don't compensate. Mirror her distance. Stay neutral. If she reaches out, acknowledge it, but don't overinvest. And when she comes back, which she will, don't welcome her too easily. Most men fail at this moment. She disappears for a week, then suddenly texts, "Hey." And what do? They jump at the chance. They act like it's the best thing that's happened to them. That's a mistake. Stay calm. Let her work for it. If she left, she needs to prove she's serious about coming back. You set the pace. You don't fall into old patterns. You let her feel the distance before you give her too much attention again. And when you do this, she respects you more. Because now she knows she can't take you for granted. The power of silence and why it works. Not every woman will come back, and that's okay. Because if she pulls away and never returns, she's done you a favor. She's saved you from wasting time on someone who never truly valued you. Think about it. Do you really want a woman who stays only because you chase her? Or do you want someone who stays because she chooses to? Because she sees your worth without you having to prove it? Most men never understand the power of silence. They think they need to argue, explain, or fight for her attention. They believe if they just say the right thing, they can change her mind. But silence speaks louder than any words. It creates uncertainty, mystery, and a shift in emotional power. At first, she assumes you'll check in. She expects you to break first. But as days turn into weeks, something changes. She realizes you're not coming back. You're no longer predictable, no longer waiting in the background. You've vanished from her world. And that creates a void she never expected, a space that forces her to reevaluate everything, breaking the pattern. Why silence works? Most women assume men will always be available. Why wouldn't they? Most men chase. Most men can't handle distance. They panic the moment she pulls away, desperately trying to pull her back in. But when you break that pattern, when you choose silence over reaction, you shatter her expectations. She starts to wonder, why isn't he reaching out? Why hasn't he tried to fix this? Is he really moving on? And then, the moment she never saw coming, she faces a question she never thought she'd ask. Did I misjudge him? That single thought, it triggers emotions she wasn't prepared for. Uncertainty, regret, curiosity. And just like that, the entire dynamic shifts. The turning point. Why most men never get here. Most men never reach this stage. They fold too soon. At first, she feels fine, maybe even relieved, believing you'll reach out any moment. But then, silence. No texts, no calls, no reactions on her posts. Days pass, then weeks, and that's when the shift happens. She starts checking her phone more often, expecting a message that never comes, and for the first time, she's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one questioning if she made a mistake. Because now, you're no longer chasing, and that changes everything. The hardest truth, you're only valued when you're hard to replace. A woman doesn't value you because of what you say, what you give, or how much you care. She values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you were always there, always available, she never had to consider losing you. But now, in your absence, something unsettling happens. She starts wondering, did I take him for granted? She starts questioning, did I misjudge his worth? And the most powerful part? She doesn't even realize she's doing it. It happens instinctively, because when something is always available, it fades into the background. But when it disappears, it becomes a mystery, and mystery fuels attraction, when silence turns into obsession. Once the silence sets in, she does what most women do. She starts watching. She checks your online activity, scrolls through old messages, maybe even likes a post, just to see if you'll react. Why? Because now she's trying to solve a problem that didn't exist before. Did I actually lose him? That single thought, it locks her focus on you. Because when a woman realizes she might have lost a man who was once fully devoted to her, Emotions surface that she never expected, and suddenly, she feels the full weight of your absence. The crucial moment, where most men fail. This is the point where everything hangs in the balance. She starts testing the waters. A casual, "Hey," a reaction to your post, a random message about something meaningless. But here's the truth. It's not meaningless. It's a test. She's checking. Are you still there? And if you respond too quickly, too eagerly, you fail. Just like that, the dynamic resets. She knows she still has your attention whenever she wants it. And once again, she loses interest. The moment of truth, how you respond changes everything. When she finally reaches out after your silence, most men make a fatal mistake. They see it as a victory. She's back, now I can act normal again. Wrong. This is the most critical moment. Your response now determines everything. You have two choices. 1. Fall back into old patterns. Make it easy. Let her regain control. Show her that nothing has really changed. 2. Stay composed. Make her work for your attention. The second choice, that's what keeps her invested. Because now you're not the same man she once knew. Now you're a challenge, and women are drawn to challenges. The mindset shift that changes everything. Here's the truth most men never grasp. You never want to be the man who is always available, always chasing, always waiting. That's not power. That's weakness disguised as love. Your focus should be on your own life, your own priorities. Because when you create space, when you allow her to feel your absence, something shifts. You become more valuable in her eyes. You become the man she has to work for. And that's what creates lasting attraction. A man who never has to chase doesn't win women over with mind games. He wins by having standards, by valuing his time, by making her prove she deserves his energy. That's the shift. That's what separates the men who get played from the men women never forget. The turning point, when your absence is felt, not just noticed. At first, she thought she had you figured out. She assumed you'd be back, that you'd eventually crack, that a text, a call, some attempt to reconnect was inevitable. But now, something deeper is happening. Your silence is no longer just noticed, it's felt. And that changes everything. Suddenly, your absence isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's disrupting her emotions. She checks her phone more often, hoping to see your name. She replays old conversations, wondering if she missed the signs of you slipping away. And the longer this goes on, the more she starts questioning herself. Did I push him too far? Was I wrong about him? Is he really gone for good? And that is when the power shifts. Completely. Her ego won't let her admit she misses you, because women experience two conflicting forces. Emotion feels the loss, the regret, the longing. Ego refuses to accept defeat. So instead of admitting her feelings outright, she plays games. She might send a casual, "Hey, hope you're doing well," hoping you'll take the bait. She might post about how amazing her life is, hoping you'll notice. She might engage with others just to see if it gets a reaction out of you. But inside, she's waiting, hoping you're still watching, hoping you'll crack, hoping you'll react. And the moment you don't, the real battle begins. Now she's faced with a question she never expected. Has he moved on? Or has he mastered something most men never do, detachment? Nothing shatters her ego like true detachment. Because when she finally realizes that you were the prize all along, everything shifts. You weren't just another guy. You weren't someone she could string along forever. You weren't someone who would wait indefinitely. And the most painful part? She realizes it too late. Because by now, you've changed. You've grown. You've become a man who no longer seeks her validation. And in that moment, she finally understands what you knew all along. The real power? It was never in her approval. It was in your ability to walk away. And now, she's the one left questioning if she'll ever get another chance. The final test, where most men fail. This is the moment that separates the weak from the unshakable. When she finally reaches out, most men fall right back into the trap. They respond too quickly. They act too eager. They give her the validation she craved. And the moment she gets it, she disappears again. That's why you can't play this game like most men. If she comes back, stay grounded. Don't drop everything just because she texts. Don't make her the center of your world just because she shows interest again. Don't repeat the same patterns that made her take you for granted in the first place. Instead, let her work for it. If she truly values you, she'll prove it, not with words, but with actions. And if she doesn't, then you've already won. Because now you finally understand. You never needed her in the first place. So don't chase, level up. If she let you down, don't beg. Don't run after her. Just focus on yourself. Keep improving. Keep moving forward. And let your silence speak for you. If this video gave you value, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.